Folks, it's the vacation episode. That's sorry for yelling right away. I'm really sorry if I scared you. I'm really sorry. But it's the vacation episode. And if you're on vacation and you're listening to this, fuck you. This is my vacation. This isn't about you. Look, okay, I'm starting to get the sense maybe we got off on the wrong foot. I'm gonna try again. It's vacation week. If you're not on vacation, fuck you, because it's not about you. Did I just say the exact same thing I said the first time? That must really be what's in my heart then. I guess I have to go with it. I'm getting a call from a very important person. His name is Chuck Charles, and he is actually not on shift right now, Chuck Charles. So I don't know what Chuck Charles would be calling me about, but I guess I can put him up here on the line. Here he is. Chuck, you're supposed to be at home, like, looking at your Beanie Baby collection, or, whatever.
Yeah, I don't have a Beanie Baby collection, dude.
I figured it was just a wild guess. I thought maybe you just seem like that sort of person, but I like to do, like, process of elimination when I get to know somebody, so I just start with something random and just work from there. Do you collect things?
Yeah, you could say I collect things.
Okay. I like to start with, it's not human body parts. You're not like a serial killer, right?
Yeah, no, you checked that one off.
Alright, I don't know. What do you collect?
Yeah, I collect Social Security, dude. I'm technically retired.
Why are you talking like that all of a sudden? It's almost like you can't keep your voice consistent.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
So what's going on?
I just want to see, like, what you were doing.
What am I doing? I'm doing the show.
Well, I don't know when you do it. You don't have a set time.
I thought you said you're always in the helicopter because you're on call. So you have to be there.
Well, a traffic helicopter got shot down by a missile over a military test range, so...
Look, I know you're not a news guy, you're more of a traffic guy, but you kind of buried the lead on that story. Why is this how I'm finding out about this? But you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine as always, so... Now I can just keep counting the days until my next helicopter crash where I'm horribly disfigured.
You don't look like you're on your third or fourth helicopter crash. You look like a 1-2 max helicopter crash guy.
Oh, thank you. I think that's probably the nicest thing you've said to me since I've known you. So thank you. Thank you. So is that a no? Do you not want to hang out?
Yeah, we've never hung out, man. We've never hung out.
We hung out 3 times. We got bagels, remember? You took soap, you put it over the bagel, and you blew bubbles through the bagel hole.
Oh, I thought that was a dream. I didn't know that was possible. I did that in real life?
Yeah, okay, well, man, I'll just text you later if that works for you.
It's just kind of, like, pathetic that, I've killed you so many times accidentally, and yet what happens? You keep come crawling back. Now you want to hang out with me? Like, where does it end? Like, how many times do I have to kill you before we're married?
I have a lovely wife, thank you very much. Her name is Parmesan.
Whatever. I don't have time to dig into that. I wish you had dropped that earlier, that your wife's name is Parmesan. That would have been all I talked about.
Okay, well, bye.
This guy is so difficult. I mean... the money he's asking for in his contract, it's mean. It's a mean amount of money, and I'm not gonna give him that much money. Well, so there's this vacation week. It's jam-packed with activities that have nothing to do with you. You must be so jealous. I'm surprised you even have time to listen to this, being at a job, 40 hours a week. Can you imagine in your normal mind thinking, yes, this thing that I'm doing, it's good. I'm going to do it 40 hours a week for most of the rest of my life. I can't think of anything I'd want to do that much. Here's what I would propose. 6-hour, 4-day work week. It starts at 8. And it ends at 2, and you know why that's good? So you can go to the fucking doctor's office without having to consult a calendar and Outlook to figure out if it's even remotely possible to do this. Of course, there are types of jobs that you can't do that. I mean, that just always has to be on. I would say there's so many wasteful jobs that exist. It's insane. There's no need for this. Now, you know what? This is vacation week. This is everything. It's none of these holds are being barred. We're not holding back at all. But everything I say on vacation stays on vacation. Just sitting around, just eating food. Have you ever done that? Have you ever eaten food? Huh? I'm talking to you. Answer out loud right now. Okay. That's how I've determined if you're a robot. I'm sorry if that's offensive, but I have to tell you, today I had to identify motorcycles and fire hydrants in like 5 different login screens today. Literally, I did this so that I could order a sandwich. If I lived in the 1800s and someone came back and all they told me was, you can have a sandwich delivered to your door at any time if you're willing to identify street lights for a few minutes. If you get it wrong. Could go, sometimes it takes a while. If you get it right, great. But sometimes it gets to the point where I'm like, am I a robot? Is this how I'm gonna find out? I mean, really, it's kind of rigged in favor of robots because basically, a red light basically is a robot. So they can see one of their own kind very easily. Another thing I lied about that I'd like to correct the record on: I didn't get a sandwich delivered to my door. I actually walked to go get it. I don't do the delivery thing. I did it during COVID, and then it was like I felt like a prince or something. Like, oh, my food is waiting for me at the bottom of the step. I am so thrilled for my meal waiting for me at the bottom of my step. Then I just felt bad about it, and I was like, I'll just walk to go get it, or I'll drive to go get it. I'm not a little princely boy. I'm gonna have to strike that from the minutes. Our transcriptionist is working dutifully. I thank her for her work here. She's actually a court stenographer. She was on the OJ trial. I think that case turned out exactly how it should have, and I think it's all because of the accuracy of the stenographer. You know, you always want to have good records, because if you have good records, you're going to get a good outcome, and justice will be served, and that's exactly what happened in the case of O.J. Simpson. So coming up next, we have another man whose name also has the same kind of resonance in people's mind as O.J. You might know him, and I do definitely know him, because this is the only name he goes by, as Slurp Von Lipstick. He's always been the host of Time Check. It was never me doing a weird voice or anything like that. It was always him. So I can't put it off too much longer. Please welcome Slurp Von Lipstick. S to the L to the U to the R to the P to the V to the O to the N. To the L to the I to the P to the S to the T to the I, C, last but not least, K. That's my full name. That's the name that I have on my gravestone. It also says in quotes, the Burp Machine, which is a nickname I do not currently have, but plan to obtain later in life. That's more aspirational. I wish to be known as that. Not the host of Time Check. Time Check is completely ancillary to my life. I want to be known for my incredible burps, which again, I don't have them yet. I'm not good at burping, but I plan to improve, and I plan to study, and I plan to work. And I want to make it to the Burp Olympics. China swoops in there every 4 years and they got a monopoly on all the Olympics. It's ridiculous. I mean, they basically raise these kids to be like professional burpers. That's all they do. So with all that now out of the way, I can move on to my primary purpose in life, which is to let you know what time it is. And as of now, I have no idea what time it is, because I'm not looking at a clock. So you and I are on equal footing. But in a minute, I'm going to have more information than you, and that's going to put me in a position of power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the time. And I'm going to look at it for myself. I know now. I know that information. And you don't. And I'm going to use it against you. I'm going to make you guess what time it is. I'm going to give you clues that don't include any numbers. So this is the time of day where if you're a baby, you're definitely asleep by now. You've probably been asleep for a bit. For a dinner, this would be a very late dinner. But this is definitely girl dinner hours, for sure. Girl or boy dinner or androgynous dinner. If you are a cat, if you're a feline, you would maybe be awake by now. I don't know. If you're a parakeet, I would say yeah. Here's what I can do. I can give you a lot of animals and whether they're probably awake based on what I know about the animals. Let's say a squirrel. Yeah, it's lights out for a squirrel. Okay, so those are the hints, and now you can think of your answer, and I'll tell you the answer. The answer is 10:43 p.m. Of course, it was like, it wasn't that when I started the clues. So, like, honestly, upon reflection, I would have given different clues now that it's a few minutes later. Those weren't good clues. One of them was I didn't even know. But I gotta do a public service here. I am a human reminder. I will call you to let you know something coming up in your life. I'm just here to remind you, telling you what time it is so you know. And someone here on the line, I have to call her to tell her that she has to take her Oreos out of the freezer. They're gonna get freezer burnt. She's saving them for a recipe, an Oreo recipe. Here she is, it's Klarnica. Hey Klarnica, what's going on?
Yes, hello?
You gotta get those damn Oreos out of the freezer, remember?
Oh yes, I'll be right over to the freezer, as you say.
What are you making with those Oreos?
Something that's quite delightfully edible.
So, food.
That would be one way to describe it, I suppose.
Okay, so, kind of a vague person. Well, I guess, I just wanted to get to know you, but I guess that's all the information that, you need from me and that I need from you. Is there anything else?
Meet us at a marked location in an open field.
What? What are you talking? What? Meet you where?
We are not suspicious.
Who is we? What do you mean you're not? I didn't think you were suspicious. Wait, are you an alien who doesn't have Oreos in the freezer, but really you were using that as cover to remind you to do something else messed up, like remove organs from a human body or something like that?
Yes, well, I suppose the jig is up, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to do that voice anymore. You can do your real alien voice.
You don't want that, trust me. It's gross. It's really gross.
Well, that's cool that you're calling. So what was the point of calling in exactly? Don't you guys have clocks on those spaceships, Like, can't you set a device to tell you when to remove human organs from a corpse?
They're not corpses.
Okay, sorry, living subjects. You guys are fucked up. You guys are fucked up freaks.
Well, at least we don't consider ourselves, between world wars.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's a fair point, but it's not like any of that was my idea. Do I look like somebody who's going to be going out assassinating archdukes? I don't think I give off that energy, but So I think I'm good. Are you still there, by the way? He hung up. Okay, hung up on by a fucking alien. I had questions. I didn't even get to tell him what time it was, so I don't know what the point of that was. But I know what the point of time check in general is. It's to tell you what time it is, and I did that. So don't get mad at me. Don't come at me in the comments. Don't come at me in the Discords. Don't come at me in the message boards. I'll tell you, there's one place you can come at me, and that's in the rodeo. That's right. I'm learning how to be a rodeo clown. Honk honk. That kind of thing. I'm getting into it. Might as well. My name is Slurp Von Lipstick, after all. Might as well capitalize on it. That's the kind of society we live in. When the going gets rough, you can always become a clown. It's not plan B, it's plan C. For clown. Alright, I'm gonna make my way over to the rodeo, but thank you so much for coming out. If you ever want to know what time it is, just look at your watch and I'm there. That's me. My heart and soul is in the clocks around you. It's incredibly painful for me to be all of these clocks. It's incredibly painful for me. See you next week. Alrighty, okay, yes. That's right. Give him the appropriate amount of applause that something like that actually deserves. I think it deserves the sound of one hand clapping. You know, plus I'm not really paying attention. I'm just sitting up in the rafters, stuffing my face with popcorn while Slurp Von Lipstick shames himself, shames his nation. The elementary school he went to, it should be bulldozed. And they should put up fences around it like it's Chernobyl. Every car he's ever been in, it should be impounded. It should be ground down into dust. So, anything else you need from me? I got a P.O. box. Well, it's actually a P.U. box. It only receives smelly things. So if you're sending, fish in the mail to me or something like that, it'll go in the P.U. box. Also, if I'm sending out like a turd to my doctor or something, I'd have to do that through the P.U. box as well. Do you put outgoing mail in a P.O. box? What is a P.O. box? I really don't know. Isn't it just a mailbox? It's just a box for mail. I'm just of the generation where if I have to send mail about something, I'm like, yeah, forget it. That's not gonna do that. I'll never return a product. I'm not gonna put it in Are you fucking out of your mind? Another thing I thought of that's common in the world, and that I actually do use every day, but I don't know what it's called. Little thing on the top of the door that makes it not slam. What is that little thing called? I guess now would be a perfect time to look it up. Pneumatic door closers. One of the most common ways people circumvent the door slamming problem is to install pneumatic door closers. It's amazing they had to make an invention to stop us from slamming a door shut like a fucking monkey. Installed at the top door and connecting to the door frame, this type of door closer actively stops the door slamming shut using hydraulic pressure, thereby making it impossible to create a loud noise. But some of those close so slowly, I'm gonna be done doing whatever I'm gonna do in this room by the time the fucking thing actually closes. So might as well not have a door. Might as well tear it off like a monkey. So, yeah. So, question asked and answered. I think we all learned something today. Now, I'll tell you what's really fun when it comes to doors. How about that door stopper? Now that, I know what that is. I'm very familiar. It is a fun little item to play with if you're a toddler or a kitten. I was once one of those. It was the toddler. I used to be a toddler, and I remember the door spring. And, I can really see the appeal. It's fun. It's like a little toy. Imagine a whole wall covered in door springs. It'd keep you busy for years. That'd be a blast. But when you have one, you don't think anything of it. You're just like, this is just here for utilitarian purposes. It's here to serve a purpose, and it's not recreation. It's not entertainment. It's serious business. Think of all the doors there are. Some of them are just beads suspended from a doorway. Some of them are actually portals to alternate timelines where this podcast doesn't exist. And so, if you saw that doorway, just a rhetorical question, but if you saw it, would you go through it, I would hope that the answer is no, because I think those kind of doors, it's a one-way thing, So I think we should all just keep living in the same universe. If anybody Here's just a deal I'm going to make with everybody. If anybody is able to breach into other realities and other timelines, let's just, like, not take that opportunity. Let's be like, no, I'm committed to this timeline. I also don't think the timeline thing is how it works, where it's, like, branching. I think the future is, like, just unresolved chaos. In the same way that, like, white noise kind of encodes every piece of music ever written and every sound that's possible, because it contains all frequencies. So it's like an auditory superposition, and it's kind of like the Michelangelo quote, which is something like, I have to get the statue out of the marble. It's waiting there. So it's about carving off the superfluous material. So I think that's what the future is. It's just like, it's everything being, like, kind of pulled into the present through probability. Or it's like some kind of Marvel thing. I don't know. Maybe that explains Marvel's obsession with, like, multiverse stuff, because the Marvel movie franchise business plan was from another timeline, another universe, or they didn't want it. So they're shopping it around to multiple. And they had a hit here. People were into it. So at the very least, somebody's got to keep these A-list actors employed. I don't have a job this week. I'm unemployed this week, so just for 1 week only. I really do forget after a while that I have a job. After, like, day 4. So this is just advice for you if you don't want to be at work. Just leave and just be willing to accept the fact that you could end up becoming Oscar the Grouch. And this is what parents always tell their kids when they think they're making poor choices. You know, they're like, I don't want you to end up like Oscar the Grouch. The thing is, he's so committed to the look now, it's part of his brand. It's part of Sesame Street. It would be like if Elmo said, like, damn. Like, what? Elmo? Watch your fucking mouth. And then every season, he adds another swear word and ups the ante a little bit. He mutters shit in a scene. In like 5 or 6 seasons, Elmo talks like he works on, like, fucking Wall Street. Would that make them problematic? Your fave? I don't know. I wouldn't care. But if it was Elmo, it would be different. It would be different with Elmo. I actually hold Elmo to a higher standard than I do to the President of the United States now. That does make me think we should probably just elect Elmo. I don't want to see Elmo, like, age, though. Like, I don't want him to turn gray. And the rest just works itself out. Like, the Count is going to be Secretary of the Department of Numbers, and he's going to do double duty with the Department of Vampires as well. So he's really a skilled asset. This is what we need. We need people with experience. We need people with a vision. Well, that's about all that I had on the agenda. That's right, I have an agenda. I also have a storyboard with sketches of how the show's gonna go. It's just the same picture of me just sitting in a chair. But I've gotten good at it. It's like 20 frames per second, practically. Fuck, that's better than this Xbox. Let's play No Man's Sky on this thing. It's chugging along. What gives? It's the Xbox One S. Isn't that good enough? Wait, what's the new one? But, it's like, come on, you're just rendering an infinite number of planets. What's taking so long? And I will see you next week.